Hi friends. In this bonus video, I'm going to show you 5 critical practices professional writers employ, which allows them to write book after book after book. As I've said many times before, many people say that they would love to write a book, and most of those who do start writing, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, never finish. As you learned in the last video, one of the main reasons for this high failure rate is because people get excited and they jump into writing without any kind of clear game plan. But another key reason for so much failure is that most first-time authors rely on sporadic bursts of inspiration. In other words, they write when they feel like it. And it's easy to write at the start of the journey because emotions and excitement levels are high. But eventually, every writer, like every runner, hits that wall where the fun wears off and where it starts hurting. Then they realize, crap, this is work. This isn't easy anymore. Forget it, they say. I'd rather go watch Netflix. But before we jump in, if you don't already know, let me introduce myself. My name is Joel Hughes, and I run Springboard Books, which is a kick-ass publishing and marketing agency helping entrepreneurs and leaders to craft and publish kick-ass books that serve as their ultimate lead generation and sales tools. I want to offer you a copy of my book, Fishing with Dynamite, where I teach you how to do all of this and set you up for success. To get a copy in digital format or paperback, just go to springboardmethod.com/FWD. I'll put the info in the link below. The book also comes with a boatload of free bonuses like the full audio version of the book, 4 online courses, worksheets to download to help you find your book topic, your take, to help you shift readers' beliefs to see you as the best solution to their problem. All right. So in this video, I want to give you 5 critical practices that professional writers do to make sure they make it to the finish line. Let me just tell you here that the bottom line to all of this comes down to one word: consistency. Consistency is everything. How do you write a book? You write a book the same way you build a castle, little by little, brick by brick, consistently over time. Here's how you do it. First, determine your writing place. Most writers, like me, need to write in isolation and away from distraction. I used to write in my old job before anyone got there many years ago. At the start of 2019, I quit that job to take all of my projects full-time, so now I work from home or from my office, which is where I'm at now. For a couple of weeks, I tried writing early in the morning at my local coffee shop, but it just didn't work for me. I like to write a little bit, and then I get up, I walk around, I pace back and forth, I talk to myself. I didn't feel free or comfortable doing this in a public place. Now I just work in my little living room, on my laptop, or from my office. Those are my spots. John Grisham says, quote, "I start every morning at 7 or 7:30 in the same place, my little office where it's dark and cozy, with a cup of the same really strong black coffee. It's my little cocoon. There's no phone or fax or internet and no music," end quote. You make work fine in a coffee shop. Maybe the people bustling in and out helps you. I don't know. But it doesn't matter where you write. The point is that I think it's helpful to find your one prime spot and stick to it. I think this helps with building a familiar routine, which helps us jump right back in where we left off the day before and not lose a beat. While the same routine day in and day out is not sexy, it does get shizzle done. I need to listen to music when I write. I like fast, heavy music. I know other writers who need absolute silence when they write. For me, I like the intense music because it wakes me up, gets me a little angry, helps my emotions rev, which I feel makes me a better writer. The key again, though, is to find the spot that works for you and stick to it. Second, determine your writing time. People who write when they feel like it are usually the same people working on the same manuscript for years. Most simply never finish. If you're going to write a book, you need to treat it like a real part-time job. You will want to figure out when is the best time for you to write and then decide how long you will write for. Third, kill all distractions. I know it goes without saying, but when you are writing, you want to be as focused on your thoughts as possible. You want all that brain power putting out ideas and words. If this means getting up super early before work or writing at 10 o'clock at night for an hour after the kids are in bed, then that's what you'll need to do. When I'm in book writing mode, I like to work early in the morning and I don't check my email or look at social media before or during those hours. I need all of my brain cells focused on churning out clear and coherent ideas and words. So kill all unnecessary distractions to get yourself into peak focus. Fourth, determine ahead of time the length of your book. This is one of the most common questions asked by newbie authors. What many first-time authors don't realize is that your book trim size plays a key role in determining your book's length. In publishing, trim size describes the physical height and width of the pages of a book. A larger trim size can obviously fit more words on the page and thus creates fewer pages overall. The two most popular trim sizes for nonfiction books are 5x8 and 6x9. You can also publish your book in 5.5 by 8.5 to find the sweet spot in the middle. Actually, Amazon carries like 16 different trim sizes, but those are the main ones. But this is why I tell students and clients to go find a stack of nonfiction paperback books and just study them. See how they feel in your hand. It's also helpful to get a tape measure to find out the exact size of the books that you like. A 5x8 paperback book will contain roughly 250 words on a printed page. A 6x9 book will contain about 300 words per printed page. Most nonfiction books are between 30,000 to 80,000 words. Word count, not number of pages, and definitely not the number of Word or Google Doc pages. That word count is what measures book manuscripts. Every word processor and every writing program has a word count feature. Microsoft Word tallies it in real time at the bottom of your document page, which is helpful. The reason we don't count a book's size by your word processor pages is because I don't know what font you used, the font size, or if you used single space, 1.5 space, or double spacing. I also don't know what margins you're using. How you write it in your word processor will look very different than it will on a printed book. So if you're writing your first book and you want to use it primarily as a marketing tool to grow your business, which is what we're teaching here, I recommend aiming at writing smaller books between 20,000 and 40,000 words. 50 to 80,000 words are a standard length for most traditionally published nonfiction books, but a book at those sizes may intimidate potential readers, especially if your goal is to use a book as a lead magnet. We want to give people a quick win so we can get faster conversions, make more money. I know many snobby authors think that 20 to 30,000 words is not a real book, but times are changing, and our goal here is to do more than placate a few persnickety nannies. Our primary goal is to grow our businesses, and a shorter book will best serve this goal in most cases. Shorter books are more marketable because readers can consume them and digest them in days or weeks, not months. Plus, you can write a book in a lot quicker time than you can a big book. So while we don't want to measure the size of our books by the number of word processor pages, we can still use that page count as a rough guide to figure out how many pages your printed book will contain. So take the following guide with a grain of salt. In Microsoft Word, one page on the screen contains about 500 words. So a 30,000 word manuscript is about 60 word pages, single-spaced, or 120 word pages if it's double-spaced. A 5x8 paperback book, this would be about 120 printed pages. I know that's a lot of numbers and stuff to digest in a video. You can rewatch that part of the video or get my book, Publishing with Dynamite, where I explain all of this in much more detail in writing so you can take your time understanding all that. But finally, my fifth point is find your daily word goals and set a deadline. Let's say you want to write a 30,000 word manuscript, which is about a 120 page printed book, and you want your first draft done in 2 months. First, decide what days of the week you're going to write and put it on your calendar. Let's say you're going to write Monday through Friday for the next 2 months. How much do you need to write each day to hit your goal? Let's say each month has 30 days and working 5 days a week for 2 months equals 44 days. Divide 30,000 words by 40 days and you will need to write around 680 words a day. It's just it's a little over one single-spaced word page document. It's totally reasonable. especially if you're working from an outline that you've already done ahead of time. So that's it for this video. But to recap how professional writers get shizzle done, consistency is the key. I can't emphasize that enough. Little by little, every day. But to get specific, to recap the 5 points of how professional writers do it is: number 1, determine your writing place. Number 2, determine your writing time. Number 3, kill those distractions. Number 4, determine ahead of time the length of your book. And finally, number 5, find your daily word goals and set a deadline. Again, my book, Publishing with Dynamite, goes over all of this and more. In the next email you're going to get from me, I have another teaching video to set you up for success. In that video, I will reveal to you the biggest mistake made by many first-time authors. How you do this will make a life or death difference in your book. I'll see you there.